aka Mr. Hype. Okay, and today we're doing our morning show. What's trending online, doing market research so you don't have to. It's going to be super awesome. Make sure you follow this page if this is the first time you ever seen this video. This is something that I just whipped up, okay, because us as business owners, we need to see what's trending in the marketplace so we can make videos, because if you make videos about what's trending, you will get more eyeballs to your business. So here's what we do. Okay, we go to googletrends.com, and this gives us daily search trends. And the top of the hour, October 15th, 2022, we're talking about student loan application forgiveness from the one and only genius, Joe Biden. God, he's a smart individual, right? Genius of a man. So we are talking, we're going over this student loan forgiveness, okay? It's the number one searched term right now. And for those of you watching, like, you can literally make content about every single one of these top 20 trending topics for your business and tie it into what you're doing, regardless of what industry you're in. Okay, if you want me to give you an example of your industry and tying it together, just type in the comments your industry name, and I will do my best to show you how to tie it together. Okay, today we just so happen to be student loans. So so let's check this out. Okay, so student loan forgiveness from Joe Biden. So here's my take so far on this, right? When I first heard this, I was like, yeah, that sounds good. People don't need to pay the government more money because most people don't use their college degree anyways, right? They go to school because that's what they're told to do. And at 18, 19, we don't know what the hell we're doing, so we just do what we're told, even if we say that we don't do what we're told, right? So if Joe Biden, look at his smirky, smart self of a man there. So his clause here, his student loan forgiveness plan, okay, he says that they are forgiving $20,000 of people that have student loan debt if you make under $125,000 a year. Okay, there's this CNN video where they're going over the issues. Hang on, we're going to start this over. Okay, here we go. So student loan forgiveness applications are now open through the beta mode website. Okay, so I have very mixed feelings about this, because this is the first time I have ever heard of student loans ever having any type of forgiveness, because up until this moment, student loans was the only loan that you couldn't file bankruptcy for. So Trump is a good example. He can go out and get millions of dollars into debt, file bankruptcy, open up a new LLC, and start with a fresh line of credit. You cannot do that with student loans. Okay, it was unforgivable. All right, so Joe Biden was like, okay, let's go get rid of these $20,000, $10,000 worth of loans. And this is just from some of the research that I've been doing here on the channel live. Okay, we're going to watch this video here of the CNN's breaking this down here on the news here. Granted, I don't really watch the news much, but doing this show, I guess I'm going to, because that's what's trending. So let's see what CNN has to say about student loans. Who's a help? Who's a hurt? Who do you think, man? I think taxpayers are going to pay a shit ton of more money this year. Let me know if you're on the live. Can you hear this?
What's
Can you
in it
hear
and
this video?
who will it help? Now, look, this is $10,000 of student debt relief if you didn't receive Pell Grants and you're earning less than $125,000 a year. If you went to college and you received Pell Grants, right? These are low-income students. It's $20,000, trying to address inequality here in this relief. The
Equality.
forgiveness applies only if you're earning less than 125 grand, and the student loan pause that has been since the pandemic, that will be done at the end of December. So January 1st, if you have student loans, you're going to have to start making those payments here again. So this is going to affect something like 20 million people will now have a zero balance on their student loans. 20 million people, 43 million people.
Okay, so if 20 million people go to zero, if 20 million people go to zero on student loans, who's picking up the check on the back end? Are they just like, hey, it's over. You don't have to pay for this. Or are they just going to add to inflation and tax the shit out of you and me, especially as small business owners? We pay the fucking most in taxes, dude. You have to go to corporation, and you got to be making over like 500,000 a year in order to get all of the best tax benefits. Because if you're making only like six figures, 200,000, 300,000 a year, you are getting taxed the most. Okay, and then it drops to like 50. So 50,000 a year to like 250,000 a year. That's the people that get hurt the most, get taxed the most, and those are us small business owners that have to pay for all this shit because they come for everything, and they're going to just add that into the inflation that we already have because they printed trillions of dollars this year. Gosh.
Overall qualify in some way for all of this.
Yeah, a huge percentage of people who hold student debt have $20,000 or less.
That's right. And so immediately this is breathing space in the budget for those people.
And when you talk about Pell Grants, again, people who have Pell Grants, everyone who has a Pell Grant knows they have a Pell Grant.
Yeah.
First of all, people who don't may not know what it is, but it helps lower income people specifically pay for college roughly $60,000 or less, correct?
Yes, that's absolutely right. So that's trying to address the fact that a lot of people with student loan debt are middle class Americans, right? And so you want to make sure that you're helping people in the lower end of the income ladder too.
Okay, who doesn't this help?
Well, this doesn't help anybody who went to a state school and paid for all of it, anybody who paid off all of their student loan debt, or, as many people have criticized, people who couldn't afford to go to college in the first place and didn't and chose a different path. And there are some who are saying that's taxpayers basically subsidizing people who are rich enough to go to college in the first place. You know, Mitch McConnell made this point. He called it student loan socialism. And you've heard from some Republicans and a few.
You don't have to be rich to go to college. You have to have good credit or a line of credit. You have to go to the bank. Just come over here to the bank, Mr. 18 and 19-year-old. Yeah, come over here to the bank. We got plenty of money for you to come borrow so you can go party and get drunk for the next 4 years and rack up some more debt, because we're not going to show you how to earn any money at all in college. As we do that, we're going to tell you this is all the information you need for the real world. Little boy and little girl, come join us. Come get into the trap of debt so that way you can be our cash cow. Because after you get this student loan, we're going to tell you to go buy a house for $500,000.
Democrats that it's just not fair, a slap in the face to every family who sacrificed to save for college, every graduate who paid their debt, and every American who chose a certain career path or volunteered to serve in our armed forces in order to avoid taking on debt. The policy is astonishingly unfair. That's what Mitch McConnell says. There are others who criticize it, saying it will be inflationary. Goldman Sachs out with a big report this morning. A lot of other economists saying in the long term, it might be a little bit or maybe a wash. Remember, Joe Biden made this promise before inflation was a real problem. There is something to be said for starting those student loan payments again in January. That'll take a little money out of people's budgets. That could be counter-inflationary. We'll have to wait and see. The most important thing about this was getting some of that debt off the books of young people who are being held back by it.
And if we get, for one moment, there's a ton of student debt out there. Student debt is the second highest amount of debt after mortgages, correct?
That's right. And you know,
that's because of what I just said. the programming. They're like, oh, hey, go to school. Go to school from 5th grade till you're 18. They're like, oh, go get lots of loans. Go to school. What they're really saying is, come be our cash cow. Hey, come be our cash cow. That's what they're saying. Go get as much debt as you can collect, because we're not going to teach you about how debt works or money at all. Go get as much debt as you can, so that way your life becomes easier. When in reality, it makes it harder, because now you have all of this debt, wasted years where you could have been working, doing any type of work at all, especially at that age. Who, you don't know what the hell people, grown ass adults don't know what the hell they want to do the rest of their life, let alone someone 18 to fucking 25, right? Go do that, and then we're going to tell you, hey, it's time for you to buy a house at 30, 35. You probably still have student loan debt, but let's add another $500,000 on top of that to the bank, so that way you can pay us for student loans, you can pay us for your property, all your housing, your property taxes. Oh, and by the way, we're going to tax you every time you transaction, when you sell something or when you buy something as well. Fucking crazy.
Why? It's because it costs so much to go to college. This does not address the root of the problem. And this is a very big problem in the American economy.
Like I
we
said,
have just
the
now
root of the
forgiven a
problem.
whole bunch of student
Wrong
loan debt,
advice.
which is going to help people get some breathing space, as I said, in their budgets. But the winners are the colleges that just keep raising tuition again and again and again. You know, we know the value of a college degree is so important. We know you
No,
make
it's
so much
not.
more money over the course of your working
No, you don't.
lifetime if you have a college degree.
No, you don't.
We push for
What's her
kids to get
college
college
degree?
degrees if it's
Fucking probably
appropriate for
nothing.
them, and we allow them to take on sometimes debt that it would be almost physically impossible to
You
pay
don't
back,
need
especially
you need
people who go on to
people's
grad.
attention. You need to get in front of people and say, hey, this is who I am. Check me out. That's how you make money, dude. That's how you make money these days. You just get in front of people. Get in front of people. Get in front of more people. Say, hey, check me out. Look at this. Here's what I can do. Here's what's working. Here's what's not working.
Graduate school.
This doesn't do anything to get
No,
the colleges to
it
figure
doesn't.
out their problem with this exploding tuition cost. I understand. I
You know
read
what
this
would help?
morning that the web.
Do you know what would help is if they actually taught us how to make money. Like, hey, here's how you make sales. Hey, did you know that sales is the #1 thing every business wants to focus on? Sales, marketing. Those are the two things that create income. They create income. You can freaking create it.
Website for the federal loans,
Yeah.
it broke down because so many people were checking. Is it clear yet how people find out how they get this money or get forgiven for this money?
So even young people around here are signing up for these alerts from the Department of Education so that they can find out, get any update about when this is going to happen. They're going to have to roll out some kind of a portal soon. They're telling people to go talk to your loan servicer, find out, do you have private loans? Do you have public loans? Or, federal loans? Figure out what your loan package looks like so you can see what needs to be forgiven and where you are. But you need to really be aware that you're going to start paying payments again in January after several years of not paying any payments. That's something that people need to start getting set up.
Yeah. It's all bullshit, I think.
Renovating.
Anyways, that's what's trending today. So go ahead and go make some videos about it. Just go give your opinion about it. Just give your overall opinion of what you think. And tie it back into your business. Now, you can use stories. I went to college, right? And we're just using this college one as an example, but the fundamentals will stay the same. So make sure you stay tuned, because I'm going to be doing what's trending right now. This is going to be the show, what's trending right now. Okay. And we're going to talk about this. So this is the trending research that you can do in the mornings, so you have content ideas for your business that will be able to get in front of more eyeballs already without us having to push the entire agenda ourselves. Love you, my friend. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.